Hey, I'm back. Careful first. Oh, that's not talking. So I'm gonna just go ahead and hit this with the delete real quick. Um, I ain't gotta put anybody out there like that. You don't know who watching for who. And there we go. I just wanted to do that. Let's see if it's taken care of. And it is. Okay, nice. So yeah, I recorded those like 3 videos earlier. And when I was in the first one, something told me to check and see where the audio was on OBS. Something told me, and I didn't listen to it. So then I watch them back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so quiet. And if I had a certain software, I would be able to like increase the audio on the track. But girl, that's too much work. It ain't, but it is. You know what I mean? And my phone is at 44%. So it's 12:03. The moon will be in front of the sun in approximately an hour and a half ish. So it's going to be happening at night over here in America. But if you're on the eastern hemisphere, you'll be able to see it, right? So the moon is like 29. I'm going to do this so that doesn't happen again. And then I guess I'll just scroll down. You can even see. No, kind of, sort of. Okay. So anyway, the moon is at 29 degrees, 28 minutes Gemini, and the sun is at 0 degrees, 17 minutes Cancer. So here, hold on, wait. Here pretty soon, we'll have that new moon. And it's interesting because the sun and the moon were like, when the sun was still in Gemini today, the moon was like less than 5 degrees, or roughly about 5 degrees away before it went into Cancer fully. And so we kind of sort of had a little bit of a double dose of new moon in Gemini, even though we didn't get that exact conjunction the second time. The moon is sitting right on top of the north node right now. Well, it's separating from the north node. It already passed it. And I don't know, because like the moon is going to be void of course. And the moon being void of course, it's basically like it's moving in between constellations. And so it's not really backed by anything right now since it's so early in Cancer. And so I don't know what that means. The cards on the table are just on the table. We got the Queen of Cups, the Moon, Ace of Wands, and then the Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck. And then I got this little clear quartz here because I wanted to grab it for some reason today. It was looking a little chunky, looking a little beat up. I might have to get another one. A little clear quartz. The shadows are real today. Oh yeah, you can. It's okay. Okay, so I don't know what I'm doing today. So I guess I'm just gonna shuffle these up and see what comes out. I could use the SKT to build a spread because these have titles. Well, let's hypothetically see. Excuse me, what would happen if I did that? Oh, I can just use these as anchors. Okay, yeah. So let's do that. So first card is going to be the number of cards. Second card will be the title. Third card will be the theme. 10 cards. Psych 5. We got the grotesque 5 of cups. This is Scorpio energy. Mars and Scorpio. Is that a dignified Mars or an exalted? That would be an exalted Mars, probably. And then here's the 7 of cups. The corruptor. Let's see what these are. The High Priestess, the Emperor, and the Strength card. Wow. With the King of Swords at the bottom of the deck. That you probably can't see. There we go. King of Swords at the bottom of the deck. And then these 3 are the ones that came out. It was the High Priestess first. High Priestess, the Emperor, and Strength. This is a 2-4-8. This is interesting. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Or 2 times 4 is 8. Huh. Huh. Hmm. I wonder if maybe someone's working up a little bit of courage somewhere. So I guess the gift of the Wizard of Oz. Well, the thing about the Wizard of Oz is that they make that journey, right? And then they get to the end of the journey, they get to the wizard, and the wizard for everybody is like literally like, 10 man, you got the biggest heart out of anybody. Lion, you showed the most courage. Scarecrow, like you got a brain. And Dorothy, you could have went home a long time ago, girl. But thanks for staying. Bottom of the deck is this gardener. I don't know how I feel about the Seven of Orbs, Seven of Cups. I don't know how I feel about this corruptor spread, but we'll see. And then we got the Queen of Pentacles as the theme, and this Ace of Cups as the shape. So this will be easy, right? We got 5 cards. So let's see. Theme is the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles is Cardinal Earth, but she's a shield here. So we're being protected from corruption. Almost like the energy of God, because as the frequency increases, then as the base frequency increases, then the things that can sort of stand on it shifts, right? Because like, let's say you have a virus. So we'll start with the stem first, and then it'll be 1, 2, 3. And let's say for whatever reason it can survive at a frequency of, let's just say 10 hertz, right? But if so, like the max it can survive is 10 hertz. So if you raise your baseline frequency to 12 hertz, then you won't have to worry about it anymore because it can't survive at 12. The highest it can survive is 10. And so that's kind of sort of a similar thing to what's happening with this Queen of Pentacles shield. And actually, we'll do it like this. So I need one more. With that Queen of Pentacles shield and the Corruptor Seven of Cups. Because it's like there have been enough who have quote unquote awakened to get us to reach that point of to make it over the tipping point. Right? And one person with their voice is more powerful than 1,000 without it. And it's like someone's been collecting voices over the years, but they're losing. Oh, wait, when did that come out? When did this come out? How long has this been here? That's it. You can kind of sort of see the cup shape, right? A little bit, if you use your imagination. Bottom of the deck is this, the Page of Wands. The tail resumes. Every time I see this, because I look at the salamander, and it's like, we cut the salamander's tail off, but it's gone back now, so the tail resumes. Let's see. Ooh! And that's the King of Cups, Archangel of Healing. So this healing, whatever this healing was, and look, well, it's already in there somewhere now, but she had that cup, and this is a cup spread. But this is the Corruptor spread. So let's see what has come to try to poison the chalice. And I use decks that I don't use too much, right? I'll grab the Mystic Mondays because I didn't actually end up using them the other day. And I think I put these all up right last time I pulled them out, so they're already prepared. So yeah, we had the solstice. The solstice actually happened at 4:44 p.m. Central. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I was like, oh snap, it's 4:44 here. On my phone, it said 5:44 because I still have my phone on. My phone, well, that app and my laptops are all on Eastern time still, but I live on Central. So it happened at 4:44. the solstice, and at about 2:40 Eastern is when that eclipse is going to happen. So I will probably be watching some videos on the internet of this eclipse. I know they said that they're going to be live streaming it over Stonehenge, so I was like, oh, that's interesting. I should probably figure out what these mean first. So the bottom or the base of the cup is going to be the devil, which is perfect because this is the corruptor spirit, right? But this is the stem. So it hasn't yet touched the water in the cup, but this is the stem of the glass of the chalice. So I don't know what that's about. Ooh, the Ten of Cups and the Two of Swords. And then we have the Three of Cups and the Seven of Wands. Okay. So this is going to be about you can take the easy way or the hard way. And the hard way is the way to go. Because, I mean, this is the way attached to the Ten of Cups. Hold up. I actually felt the Archangel of Healing was the one that came out. That was the message from this page of Wands, the Stronghold of the Flame. And so this is actually going to be something that we need to address, right? Because this is the corruptor spread, but the point of the corruptor card is not to give in to corruption. And so this is actually going to be a purifying spread, but it may reveal something. And then here's the Seven of Wands. We've seen the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles already. And there's the Seven of Wands. We have every element except for Earth present, but then we have this Earth energy up here with Capricorn. I've been seeing lots of elements lately. I wanted to grab my rose quartz, little chunk of rose quartz. I'm actually going to do that because what the world needs now is love, right? Got a little chunk of rose quartz. Go too far. This little chunk of rose quartz. The crystals that I feel the most kind of sort of differ sometimes. Like sometimes I'll pick up that rose quartz and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Sometimes I'll pick up something else and I'm like, oh my gosh. Let's see, am I feeling this rose quartz today? Kind of. I'm just hungry though. Solar plexus is like, feed me. So this is going to be maybe where we're tied up. This is going to be what we want. This is going to be the fight to get it. This is a crossroads, and this is what lies beyond that choice. Or something like that. We'll see. So, oof, that was quick and way too much, but the Princess of Swords, the Devil, and Temperance came. I mean, the Devil came out, so I gotta take him. Darn it. Okay, so then we'll go for this Two of Swords. Perfect. Ooh, the Empress. Then we'll go for this Ten of Cups. Now these cards, I connect to them sometimes and I don't sometimes, so we'll see how this works. Excuse me. Again, I don't know what I'm doing tonight. I was just like, I'm gonna go live. You know, I haven't gone live today. And I was gonna take a break for a minute, but I might do that. We'll see. Oops, that's way too much. All these shadows. All around me, I can feel everything. Okay, well, Here's this moon card and this card face down. There's this Empress here, so we'll see what that's about. Then we'll come over to the Three of Cups. Because with that Two of Swords, it's almost like it's a moment of challenge. And the Three of Cups is some kind of reconciliation or some kind of celebration after we've navigated past that point. And it's like the corruption is sort of like this is everything like below this is what this is preventing. Not presenting. What? Presenting? Well, we'll see. So there's Three of Cups. Let's see what we did. Oops. Okay. Well, those came out literally right on top of this card over here. And that's quite a few, but I'll keep them. So if they wouldn't have done that, then I would have moved them over here. But they decided where they wanted to be. And that strength is what came out upright. And that is the space of like, you know, us fighting for whatever this Ten of Cups is. Because that's the Dark Horse. What is that song? There we go. Ooh, Hierophant. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, Five of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck with this Page of Wands at the bottom of this one. So, oh, only one card too. So, when it comes to this Devil card as sort of the corruption that needs to be purified, we have Temperance, the Devil, and the Princess of Swords, which is the Page of Swords. And so, here, it almost feels like we're keeping ourselves in situations that we know aren't beneficial for us, but we may not necessarily in the past have been able to see another way out of it, or maybe we didn't quite know better, but it's like, no, that's not it. Look again. Okay. If these were upright for me, that would be grand. The Princess of Swords is touching the tip of the sword. And it's above her head. We also have the colors from Temperance and the colors from the Devil in this card. Right? We have these greeny blue things up here, and then what she's standing on is closer to the colors of this Devil card. And so it's like in the past, we were more exposed to a certain line of thinking that didn't really serve us. But I feel like we didn't completely buy into it because it is the princess. Or we're coming away from this. It almost feels like we were susceptible, and so this energy just came in and tried to convince us of something. So someone that you trusted or considered to be someone wise maybe kind of sort of put thoughts into your head that weren't necessarily yours. This is an energy of mental condition. And then we have this Temperance card here. Temperance is usually an angel, right? And so there's almost an energy of like in the past this was allowed to happen because growth, but now it's time for this to change. And so we're changing the way that we're thinking about something. We'll pull one more card. Changing the way we're thinking about what? That was the Ace of Cups, I believe, but it didn't come all the way out. Changing the way we think about what? Does it matter? Okay, we'll see. When did this come out? Cards be slipping out. I don't even notice. Now the Four of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. So we go from the 5 to the 4. The Seven of Wands. We got that twice. Interesting. And the Knight of Cups. So changing the way we think about relationships and maybe changing what love means. What does love look like, right? Because the Devil is often tied to in the devil card, you also often see the lovers sort of bound together. But true love isn't necessarily restrictive. And so maybe that's why we have a limited understanding of what it actually was and what it actually means to show that you love someone, right? And so I feel like with these two cards, the colors are not the same. We got more like root, sacral energy over here, and more heart energy over here. And then we also see this moon up here. It almost feels like since you didn't, it's a little less weird, but it's like since you didn't really know what love truly was, you didn't know who you are, if that makes any sense at all. And maybe it's like you didn't know who you were because you were never embraced enough to take time to get to know yourself. Maybe you were always compared to somebody else. And so instead of you being you, you tried to be somebody that people would actually like. And so this Princess of Swords is like where you should have maybe a little bit more of a complete knowing and understanding of who you are. You never really came out of this princess state. And if you went any further, it wouldn't have gotten you any closer to the truth. So there's almost, and I was kind of sort of feeling it, there's almost like this energy that you became a king or a queen with this knowledge, but now you're coming back to this page state to learn a whole new way. And then we got 14 and then 15 with temperance into the devil. And I didn't even necessarily think of that. So it's like you've taken the devil path before, but now you're coming back to this crossroads with the Two of Swords. You're coming back to this point, and now you're going to be choosing a new way. Now you're going to be going down the temperance. And that's why she's looking in this direction. Okay. All right. Like that. Oh, look, and the colors fit. It is going to require a little bit of vulnerability or a lot of bit of vulnerability, honestly, and some being open to really learn and receive yourself. And this may see. I'll just leave it there. Well, with this Knight of Cups, it may be something that you can learn with someone else, but make sure it's someone who's like actually going to treat you right and who actually loves you. But that may just be like exposure to sort of this new realm for you. Because then we have the Empress here and the Moon with this Queen of Swords. Ooh, look, she became down here on top of this Ten of Cups. So it may be the case that you meet someone who awakens this truth within you with that Ten of Cups being there. And it's like, I feel like you don't even fully go down that path at sort of the vessel part of the cup. So like, we don't even get that much water here. Like when we get up here, that's when like there's actually water in the cup if we're filling it up, right? And so you didn't even fully go down this path. Just the little bit of exposure that you had was enough to know that things need to change. And both the Empress and the Queen of Swords are looking in the same direction. They're both looking at this moon and the strength over here. So Ten of Cups, the joyous one. I think I'm also being, there's a lot of green here. The Empress is like wrapped in green and sitting on it. And then, I don't know if you can see, but there are these like green ribbons going around the Queen of Swords. And so feel like you're learning to speak in a new way, or you may be learning to hold your tongue. Because sometimes I see this green ribbon as like not constricting her, but like holding her back. You're learning to speak from the heart in a way that you couldn't necessarily do before because you weren't really in that heart space. And with the white that she's standing on, it's like that's everything. That's every color. Right? And so it's not that you're completely defenseless, but I think it's like it's for you to be a little bit more vulnerable, but at the same time, it's not for you to be taken advantage of, right? Because her sword is down. She's not really like about to cut anybody, but here, like, she's like full defense mode. And here, her sword is raised at least, right? But this Empress is just straight chilling. And this Queen of Swords, like, she got her sword at the ready, but it's pointed downwards. And there's almost like the platform right here in this moon card almost kind of sort of looks like what she's standing on. And then there's this moon right here, and then there's a little moon up here. But they're in opposite phases, right? Because one of these is nearly full, the other one is nearly new. And I don't know which, but can you see? Oops. I got the camera like a lot closer today. So, because here's that moon. And it's a little dark too. Can you see it? There we go. Where is it? Where is it? It's up there. Y'all see that moon? There it is. I wish I could just have the same setup every day. It would save me so much time, but it's fine. And so it's like you're standing on this platform, and this isn't a judgment card, but there is a judgment energy here. But it isn't necessarily a harsh judgment, but you are being like evaluated right now because you are sort of on this platform. It's almost like there's a deep pulling in a certain direction that is sort of counter everything that you kind of sort of been maybe going towards. And then with this Two of Swords spot being this Empress, I feel like this is one of the chillest Empresses I've ever seen. And so you may not necessarily be, it's not that you're not in your power, but I don't think you're necessarily using it right now. And then we have the Eye of God up here, sort of watching everything. And this is the Blind Seer. And I kind of sort of love that Blind Seer energy since this Empress is the moon. But this is an emotional truth, right? Because that's Libran energy. And people say Libra is very emotionally what's that word? Emotionally intelligent. Yeah, they say Libra is emotionally intelligent, and I say they say because I'm a Pisces and I know some Libras. Anyway, that was unnecessary. I don't have to take digs at Libra every single time I get an opportunity. I also got Taurus in my chart, so we share Venus. It's like we cousins or brothers and sisters. But this is an emotional intelligence, and so there is a question in the past may not be what's logical now, because the Knight of Cups is heralding. It's like you got the Princess of Cups, and so water has a little bit more weight. And this Queen of Swords is sitting on top of the moon, and that's a lot of water energy. and she's putting, again, her sword is down and she's sort of being wrapped up. It's almost like some of this white is being converted to the green. And I'm trying to decide if white is like no color or if white is all of the colors. Because I guess if we talk about the chakra system, we're talking about lights. And so white would be all the colors if we're talking about light. If we're talking about pigment, then white would be no color because it would reflect everything. But we have this green coming in now. And there's a tinge of blue to this green as well. And there's also a tinge of white. And so it's like, we're sort of in this more whole space, but there's a primary emphasis on emotion and sight, because this is a deeper blue. So that would be like heart and third eye attached to this moon card. So she's learning to see with her heart instead of seeing with her thinking, reasoning mind. And because she's seeing with her thinking and reasoning mind, it's almost like there are some things that she would have cut down in the past, or she would have, guarded her new pair of eyes. She's starting to reevaluate whether or not she needs to approach it in the same way. And maybe that's why she's at this sort of Two of Swords state right here, when this Ten of Cups is right here. So this Empress is just chilling, hanging on to this banana, and bananas don't grow on trees. So it's asking you to really stand out above the crowd. You may feel drawn or pulled in a direction that goes completely against. That's why that devil is sort of up here as the corruption that we need to sort of address and move beyond. And it's a 2-strand twist, because I ain't about to try to 3-strand braid this mess. And my hair has gotten longer. It goes down. It's like between my eyes now. Well, between my eyebrows. Not necessarily down to like the bridge of my nose yet. It's almost like it's something that you can see with the third eye, but you can't yet see with your natural eyes. But you're learning to trust it. So she is the most logical queen. And even she is putting her sword down. So it's almost like you've seen or felt or experienced something that you can't unsee, feel, or experience. And it's powerful enough that it would sort of appear in the question. But also with that banana, it's almost, that's why I was saying, like, because bananas are all clones of each other because they don't have seeds. So you can't naturally grow a banana. You have to graft it onto something else that's already down here. You need to be raised somewhere, right? You're not birthed as a fully developed adult. A lot of people, maybe there's somebody out there who was like this, just like exploded from the belly, a grown person. You were to become something else. And yellow is the color of the solar plexus. And it's kind of sort of the only yellow we have on the table right now. And so you may sort of be in this position where, and her crown is sort of yellow too. It's giving me pineapple vibes for some reason. Because I think it's, what do y'all think? I'm going to just hold it this way. It's upside down. But is that a pineapple on it here? With green little things coming out? Yeah, it is. It's a pineapple. It is. It's the top of a pineapple. And I think that green stuff might actually be her hair, some of it, and some of it may be this thing she's wearing. You were grafted onto one thing, but that's another reason why it almost feels like there wasn't anyone in your life who would have even been able to teach you how to be you, because you are something so unique and extraordinary and beautiful. It's not to I don't guess I want to say, like, I don't want to discredit anyone or anything, but it's like, for what you have inside of you and for what you have in solar plexus, you're going to be the one that leads and you're going to be the one that shines. And it may be the case, if we're talking about something familial, where you come in and you do something a different way, and that inspires other people in your family to also do things in a different way. And then you would see how important it is for you to sort of be the forerunner of whatever this change is. But you would also be able to see maybe why you fall in this Two of Swords kind of sort of pressure of, do I be me or do I be who I was raised to be, everyone else? And it's interesting that her arms is in this position. It references the double Vajra, but this reminds me of the heart, because 4 ventricles. I never took anatomy. I took anatomy for like 2 days and then I dropped the class. But there are 4 chambers of the heart. And for some reason, this cross gives me heart vibes, because it's like it comes in and goes out, and then it comes in and goes out, or it comes in and goes out, and it comes in and goes out. I don't know how it works. If they come in the same side and go out the same side, or what. They arteries away. So the veins, arteries carry oxygenated blood, and the veins carry deoxygenated blood. Because arteries, I remember arteries away, so they go away from the heart. And if they're going away from the heart, then they got oxygen in them. It does. And so there's also an element of breathing life into something. And actually, iron in the blood, it's what? It's not ferromagnetic. Iron in it, and it's the iron that fixes the oxygen, or the hemoglobin that fixes the oxygen, I guess. And so hemoglobin anatomy, I took like AP biology and chemistry, and more biology and more chemistry in college. But there's something about the heart here. I mean, and I guess there is all this green. So, and some tinges of like a tealy color. Is that like turquoise? I don't know. Or is it aquamarine? I don't know. But it's important to be connected to the heart and to rest in, like, your heart is your seat of power. Now coming down here, we got the 3 of Cups. And so this is about building and establishing something new, and maybe a shared vision that you have with whoever and whatever. But this may also be just like between the Hierophant and this 3 of Cups, I'm getting a feeling that this is like you connecting to your higher selves. The camera is in a different place. Oh my gosh, I don't mean to go as far. This almost feels like you connecting to your higher self and receiving all of this information that then creates this sort of establishment for you. Or it's a sacred space in which you can commune with your higher self, higher selves, spirit, and all of that. Everything you need is within you. And again, there's a space where you can get a little bit more direct access and communication within yourself. And then over here on the 7 of Wands, which is how we sort of like keep fighting, we have the Strength card, the Tower, no, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Empress. The Empress in the same spread, y'all. And this is all one person, I think. Maybe. I mean, since we're coming off of the 10 of Cups, I'm going to say this is all one person, because I've been feeling it as one person. So we got Strength, the Tower, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Emperor. Well, the Emperor could be coming after this Ace of Pentacles, but it's going to require you to have the strength to go through this Tower. And I think the Tower is just like really reestablishing and rerouting everything that, it's like destroying everything that's been created and building up anew, having the strength to go through that, and also integrating what you get from this Hierophant energy that is coming from a you that is closer, or a part of you that is closer to spirit. And then that'll lead you to this whole new world of brand new possibilities that includes, or gives you at least access to, a more sort of structural ability. Because with the Empress, it's like the ability to create, but with the Emperor, it's like the finer details, right? It's almost like Empress energy is more abstract, while Emperor energy is like, oh, that's a chair, that's an orange, that's a lamp, that's some dude on a unit in the back. And the Empress energy is like, that's just of red and purple and streaks of yellow and orange and green on a piece of paper. And so you can, like, you have this raw creative potential that you're kind of sort of learning to accept and come into. But at the same time, as you hone everything over here, it's almost like with the Emperor being sort of the last card that we're going to be talking about. Because I did say it feels like you're being sort of evaluated at this moon. It's not necessarily judgment, but it is an evaluation here of how closely you can align with your higher self and how closely you sort of follow it. And it's like the better you're able to align with that, then the more you're going to be able to fine tune whatever these creations are. And the more you can fine tune it, that means you get to just be like a little bit more selective. But there's also this space where it's really important for you to have this open heart, because you can't, there are certain things that you have to have your heart open to be able to do, because they're not going to let you go around just like creating anything where you're going to be acting against the free will of someone else or just doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing, right? We're not leaving one system behind to come into, this isn't a change of hands where we just swap whoever's in power with somebody new in power and then we keep the same systems running. Like, no. Like, what would be the point of that? Right? And so, yeah, that's what I got. I hope that made sense. I'm going to shut this down and get some sleep. Happy summer solstice if you're on the northern hemisphere. Happy winter solstice if you're on the southern hemisphere. And happy solar eclipse to the world, right? And it'll be happening here in about an hour. So that's fine. Wait, is the new moon happening in an hour, or is the solar eclipse happening in an hour? I think the solar. Let me check again, y'all. I just pulled it up on my phone. Okay, so cross the skinny path that starts at sunrise in Africa and eventually moves across to China before ending at sunset over the Pacific Ocean. It will peak at 2:40 a.m. Eastern time. So yeah, the eclipse will peak in about an hour. And then we'll begin that new moon too. So it'll be ending at 5:34 a.m. Eastern, which is 4:34 a.m. my time, on tomorrow or today now. So yeah, there's that. And that's one of the things. It's like, we say like, oh, the new moon is on the 21st or the eclipse is on the 21st. And so I think we automatically assume that some of these things happen at night. And the energies kind of sort of linger. So it's not like you need to be doing necessarily anything at the moment. But again, temporally, it would be the most powerful at the moment. And so you're already working with a separated energy if you're thinking that it's going to be happening 24 hours from now. Because, new moon, full moon, oh, it happens at night. Well, depending on what side of the planet you're on, it could happen in the middle of the day. So, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what this was. Oh, wait, I got to get my final messages. How am I going to shut down without my final messages? So, yeah, I don't know if any of that made sense, but I feel like it kind of sort of did. Right, and it doesn't necessarily have to be familial, but a lot of people are raised by people who were born in an older energy. And so what you needed to do to thrive and survive in an older energy is going to be different than what you need to survive and thrive in a newer energy. But old energy is all we had to sort of go off of to teach people. So, it makes sense. And it's time to switch it up now. And so now, newer people, younger people, or more awakened people, are people who are sort of in flow with the energy. It ain't got nothing to do with age. People who are in flow with the energy are going to be leading us towards new directions. And it's going to be important for you to go with it yourself and not fight it, so that you can learn it and then teach it. Right. And again, with that moon card, it's almost like there's a space of evaluation, and you're going to have the strength to create towers or go through towers, right? To dismantle other towers. Final 1 to 3 cards. I'll take them. That was quick. Bottom of the deck is going to be this magician. Ooh, 3 cards. 5 of Cups, Queen of Cups, 7 of Cups. And we just had a spread on the 7 of Cups. So this is 5, 7, 12, 1, 13. Hold up. Yeah, 13. 6 plus 7 is 13. That's 4 cups. So, but okay, let's start here. So this is a 5 of Cups plus the Queen of Cups, 6 of Cups. So this is leaving the things behind that no longer serve us to create this new story from a place of power, or we are sort of not rethinking or revisiting or revising, but it's kind of sort of like we are. Like we're looking back on everything that we've been through as things to learn from, and when we look at them as things to learn from, we can put ourselves in a position of power, even if we didn't necessarily originally feel like we were in it the first time we went through it. And so this is finding sort of victory over these past experiences where we are the hero. And since when we come into that, then we get this come to the 7, because right, this would be 5 and 1 is a 6, and then 6 to 7, where we kind of sort of, with the 7 still being the corruptor, I feel like when we are in a seat of power that is connected to something more light and less dense and more authentic, then we can more accurately sort of kind of feel which spaces these. And there's a sort of infinity here and how these are set up. There's almost an 8 shape, right? And so this is kind of sort of a trap, low-key. It's the illusion of options. And so as long as you keep your eyes set on what is right for you and don't be distracted by everything else, then I think you'll be golden. And instead of the 4 of Cups being you sort of like waiting for a ship to come, it's almost like that'll be a 4 of Cups altogether, where you sort of stay in your authentic lane with less distraction, being less enticed to come off of it, right? Because it's like, with her being a mermaid, it's like, she's like, well, I can come on land for like an evening to dance with the prince if I want to, but I'm still going home at the end of the day. And, I may be under the sea for a little bit if I want to, but if I feel like, stretching my legs and enjoying the pleasures of the land, then I can do that too. And so I feel like it's almost in some ways to not get completely stuck on one thing, but to be stuck within yourself. I don't know if that made sense, y'all. What was the bottom of the deck? The Magician. So, hey, that's how you make stuff happen. You got to make sure it's something that you want to happen. Because if you're not in charge of your life, then you can have other people manifest in whatever for you to just jump into. And then there's the Ace of Cups at the cuts. So I love that. And I cut these because it's easier to put them back in the box. These are like asymmetrically cut, which is really aesthetically cool. But when it comes to shuffling and stuff, it's a little difficult. And it's like the cups are the cards that are cut short too. But I can see the crystal vibe, especially like the stalactite, like natural cut crystals, before you like polish them and do all that kind of stuff to them. There we go. So sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle to put them on. I hardly ever use this deck. And I'm just like, ugh. I don't even know if I connect with it sometimes, but it's fine. It's fine. You know, if it works, it works. If not, then it may be time to retire. Comment down below if you'd like to be gifted the Mystic Mondays. The Two of Pentacles and the Gardener. Why is this Two of Pentacles in reverse? That's the Nine of Pentacles. Picking the right seeds, though. Oh, and then there's the Ace of Pentacles at the cut. I've been seeing the Ace and the Two of Pentacles in this deck quite a bit. It kind of sort of happens quite a bit. All right, now I'm going to get a final message here, and then I'll shut this down, and I'll go to sleep. It's officially Cancer season, and it's officially the summer, right? We slid into Cancer season at roughly, it was a little bit before 444 when we slid into Cancer season, I think. But the solstice happened at 444 something. I don't know. You know, shoot. Final message, please. Ooh, there's an ace with the keeper. And the emperor at the bottom of the deck. Keeper of the bread of life. It's like guardians of the galaxy, but it's like keepers of the earth. Don't abuse whatever this is. And the emperor gets the blessing of life from the empress. And in this deck, the Hierophant doesn't have the blessing from the empress. Let me see, I'll find it really quick. Oh, with the strength right under that emperor, and the death right there, and the angel right there. How many mages we gonna get? And the tower right there. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mages at the bottom of the deck. And then we got Judgment right there. What was that? The Four of Swords, Judgment, and then the Four of Wands. And then another major. And then a messenger. Ooh, okay. Looking for the Holy See. Just to show y'all. Just to show ya. I hope I don't pass it up. Just stick to the status quo. No, no, no. 6 of Wands into the 7 of Wands. That's interesting. There it is. So you can see the Ankh is in reverse on his head, on the head of the bull. This is so interesting. On the head of the bull, it's in reverse, if you can kind of see that. But with the Emperor, it's upright. He is blessed, or working in conjunction with the Empress, with that divine feminine energy. And that's where we come into this keeper of the earth sort of energy, right? And so, top of the deck, ooh, is that 10 of Swords? The Destroyer, putting it into that. But yeah, it's like, you know, be wise. And again, it's like, so that's assuming that you've passed whatever this is. It's almost like, you know, we're trusting you with the keys. So, and that's the interesting thing about being human, I guess. Because, you know, you can be pure of heart and you can do this and you can do that and you can be granted access to everything. But free will is always a choice, right? And so you could do everything you need to do to get it and then decide that, you know, all of a sudden you want to be a villain. It's like, oh, I was just being a hero until you gave me your power. Now surrender to me, right? And Spirit is just like, well, it's Earth. What are you going to do? Free will. And so that's why maybe they're making extra doubly sure. But I don't know. If you're granted something like that, I don't think you'd be able to. Well, I take it back. People can do anything they want. But yeah, just realize it's a blessing. And it was probably hard won if you get it. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but you're Your creations will be blessed and you will be able to manifest more effortlessly. But make sure you're always coming from that heart space, because with the Emperor, again, it's a blessing from the Empress. It's not some masculine energy trying to take it and then warp it into whatever it wants it to be with that holy see, right? So that's it. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this. And I hope you're doing everything you need to do to get to wherever you're trying to get to. Because, at the end of everything, it's going to be too late. It's like, oh, why? I should have been listening to my heart, and I should have been connecting to people with my heart and listening to people with my heart, and maybe being a little more attentive and aware with my heart instead of just trying to block it all out and just own my way into some kind of self-medicated, oblivious state. It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, well, can I do it now? It's like, well, the moment's kind of sort of passed. So I don't know. I'm not the judge, the jury, or the executioner. So yeah, have a good one, y'all. Bye. And enjoy the season for everything it is. Lots of beautiful things coming in, especially for the people who are showing up. Again, your attention is divine. That's why Source came down here to experience itself through your eyes. Right? Your little unique Source fragment, right? God was like, I want to, or the universe, or whoever you believe to be prime creator, was like, I want to experience the world through the eyes of you. And so then you came to be. So, I mean, I guess at the same time, it would want to be experienced from your perspective or someone's perspective. It would also want to know what it would be like to ignore it and to be, willingly oblivious to what's going on, or trying to be as oblivious as you can to everything that's going on. And so your experience and your path is also valid. But as a conscious being, it may not be, or it may not get you to where you want to go at the end of the day. But it's also, someone's got to pass some stuff up and then come back and do it right the next time, I guess. Why not you? I'm kidding, kinda. I mean, honestly, though, it's just like, it's not enough for me to want and wish and hope for people to not pass up on what is for them, especially when it comes time to what are you willing to do to get it. And if you're not going to do anything of substance, then don't be surprised if you don't get anything of substance. Because it's a Six of Pentacles, give and take, right? You got to give something to get something. And what are you giving right now? That's a new question. I don't know.